Now, okay, it is 6:02 and I am calling the Monday, August 28th, 2023 meeting of the Franklin Public Library Board of Trustees meeting to order. This is Maria Imp, and I will do roll call attendance here. Judy Williams-Kalaki is excused this evening. Doris Weber.
Here.
Terry Barris.
Here.
Anne Marie Vitas-Aklubgia.
Here.
Alan Alexandrovich.
Here.
Mike Karlovitz.
Here.
Michelle Eichmann.
Here.
And Annalie Bennon. Super. Squeak. Annalie Bennon. Squeak. So we have a whole crew of visitors that we welcome to our meeting this evening. Kelly Hirsch, is that correct?
Yep.
And she is the city administrator. Is that your title?
Director of Administration.
Director of Administration, sorry.
That's
And
okay.
then our mayor, John Nelson.
Yes.
And, thank you, and you must be Danielle.
I
And is
am.
it Danielle Brown?
Yes.
Okay, and she is our,
The Director of Finance.
thank you. Okay, Director of Finance. So they are here this evening to take questions about the mayor's recommended budget. And thank you so much for being here. It's always better to have this in-person discussion rather than to try to communicate through emails and then communicate to us. So firsthand knowledge is always the best.
And as a timing thing is now we're under a crunch.
Oh yeah.
So we appreciate, that's kind of how we're going to be working through.
Yeah, well, thanks, because I know this came up quick last week, and the fact that you guys could all be here is awesome. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. So I don't know, I think, Jennifer, do you want to recap what you, or Alan, what you're seeing in our budget, or are we just going to open it up for questions, or?
Where's it on the agenda?
Well, it's under visitors. I thought we could maybe move that item up so they
Thank you.
wouldn't have to stay for the meeting. So I guess I'm moving the business item 6A up since our visitors are present. So we will discuss the mayor's recommended budget. That is on page 14 and 15 of our packets, so.
As I was going through the packet, there were two,
Yes.
and I didn't know if there was any movement towards one or the other.
Okay.
Like the second one, I like that one a lot better.
I'm not exactly sure what you're
Yeah,
referring to, but I'm assuming that it was more
Yeah.
money.
So here's
Yeah.
what we have.
Are you looking at this spreadsheet? That
I
Yes.
have this now in my hand.
Okay,
Yes.
that's something I put together, and what I did is I put in the 24 budget, and then we had, and then the mayor's NC 24 budget, and then the mayor's 24 budget, because we had two different budgets. One
So-
in which the no change, so the property tax is 1,374,000, and the other one, which has what we recommended we needed, is 1,442,700. And then we printed it nice and small so no one would be able to read it.
I was going to say, well done.
know.
Well done, sir, because this is like, I'm just like, yeah, sure, I can't read this.
Okay, so you have all three pages. You have what Alan put together in more of a spreadsheet format, and then page 14 is the
No change.
recommended budget,
With no changes, yeah.
and then page 15 is what we submitted as a board. The
Right.
board submitted.
So we have this.
Is
Yeah.
this
Oh.
easier
That's
to
okay.
read?
And the spreadsheet just summarizes all those
Exactly,
numbers.
it's the same, Jennifer,
Yep,
it's the
that's,
same.
it's
For
this that they don't
Danielle
have.
clarified for me with the much younger eyes and pluses.
Right.
Much younger.
Okay, so Alan, your question is basically which one are we going off of, or which one should we, as a
Yes.
board, be looking at?
Yes, is there a leaning towards it? Because there's no sense asking a whole lot of questions about, why are we doing this? No, we're not doing that, because we have two of them here. Are we gonna get the 1,374,000 or 1,442,700? For general
Or
property
something in
taxes?
between, or
Right, so this is, I guess I'm going to take a couple steps back
Okay.
to how we're approaching the budget for this year.
Okay.
Okay. So, as an alderman for the last 6 years, and working with the budgets and being on the finance committee for 5 of those 6, and knowing how the financial state is of the city and what our overall challenges are, and every department has the same type of ask. Okay, everything's elevated. And what I'm trying to do is show a zero net increase in property taxes. Okay, whether that's realistic or not is to be seen, as well as juggle the employees' raises coming January, which had been 2% or flat for a couple of years, many years for the non-union bargaining. And I'm giving you a broad view, and then I'll bring it in. So trust me, I will not ramble. So coming into that view of the non-represented employees, and it's you've got two scales of justice: the recruitment part and the retention part. And now when employees are jumping and jumping and jumping, we have to be more competitive. And we're working very hard to give that 3% raise to the employees in January. So now we're trying to see where we can go with this. So my initial view was a zero flat budget, meaning it's a carry on from last year, or very, very close to that, depending on what the needs are. And that's where we're starting. Just so you know, we had no planning manager since July of last year, which we hired in May. We had no finance director since the first week of January this year, and we had no director of administration from the third week of January this year. So these were cabinet level positions that had to be filled just to do day-to-day operations. So there was a lot of moving parts during this entire election cycle and everything else. So when April 4th came and went, it was like, okay, now what? Now you're in, now what are you gonna do? So we're trying to bring forth these quality people, but it's like a fire hose of information coming at them every day. So I look at this budget and I look at what you had from last year, and I guess my questions, because now I'll kind of be heading some questions back to the board, were how did it work for you last year, and could you give me some reasoning why and I look at it, it's not it's not an insane increase. I mean, it was a gentle hit. You guys were gentle. But I just want to know where were you at last year's budget? What did you get done that you wanted to get done? And now where are you at this year saying this is why we need a little more because we want to do X? And that's what I'm looking at for some answers.
Can I jump in? Okay. I don't know if you were part of the council when they did the study to try to see how Franklin compared to other communities. And as a result of that, then there were a lot of increases that were made in positions simply to be at market with everybody else. And I don't remember if last year there were things to bring things up to market and we still have to do things this year to bring them up to market?
Every year. So every year there's the increase and then a progress to market increase. So just to go back to 2015 when they did the salary and compensation study. What happened was they found out, library employees are not only paid less than the other employees in the city, but they're also paid way less than their colleagues at other libraries. And so it really hit the library with I think a $50,000 bill that wasn't covered. So it was something we had to decrease our materials budget that year, our supplies, pretty much everything to cover that. And it's been that way ever since because our increases are 2%, but our salary increases are more than that. And so every year I'm chipping away at our budget. Anywhere that I can find to have savings, I've cut databases. We've cut materials. Which hurts us in the end because then we have to bring in other things from other libraries or people go to the other libraries because they have more stuff.
Yeah,
And that's the big
constantly
thing.
Subscriptions. I know we cut some big magazine ones this year that people actually were complaining that we cut but they were really expensive ones. So
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is,
Yeah.
if I could interject for a second. Okay, living here my entire life. Okay, if I wanted to go to the library as a kid, I went to country grade school. Okay, 6 years, and it was still a 6-year school back then, so I wasn't held back. what we did is that's where your library was. I mean, we didn't have this wonderful, community offering. So I'm a supporter. I've supported 6 budgets in a row. Whatever was presented, I supported for the library. Correct? Yes.
Yes.
I would say
You've
yes. That's a good
supported
answer.
that, you've supported the,
Well, I didn't. How
The
about
budget
this?
as a
Did
whole.
I oppose it?
No.
I did not oppose it. So at least I get a little something there. So, but I did oppose it, and I want to invest in this library. It's a wonderful opportunity. It's great for the community. There's all this wonderfulness around it, and it has a need. I understand that, and I'm trying. And we're going to put something together that I don't want us to lose out. I don't want us to lose out to other communities. I want our residents, our taxpayers, so they can come here and use an amenity that they're paying for in their taxes. That's what this is thing. So I'm trying to dumb it down a lot, but I'm also not looking at the reality is I don't think I've looked at a magazine in a number of years because I just Google it and open it up.
Well,
That's
you
also
go-
they're digital though. Like
if you go out to our magazines, we have like probably 40% of the magazines we had 10 years ago.
But I guess
Between
my
us
answer,
getting rid of magazines, people do still look at magazines.
and my answer to you is you know your business, I don't.
Oh,
Right.
So
Right.
my point was that is you know what the people and the users are wanting, demanding, requesting, and I'm hoping, and I don't know this, that the people that are coming in those doors are probably mid to upper 90% Franklin residents. Is it that high or not?
No,
Because what I'm looking at is
Probably
what do our taxpayers
75 to 80.
75 to 80
Yeah, I mean, I could actually have a report done for you if you'd like.
in your spare time.
yeah.
So,
yeah, right.
but I would like to know that number. I mean, you just call me and say, John, the number is 70,
Yeah.
76, whatever. Well, I guess because when it comes down to library debate nights or budget debate nights, I want to make sure that you are able to come forth with the ammunition of usership. Is it up or down over the years? Nationwide trend is down.
But ours is up this
Ours
year.
is up.
Well, but that's what I'm looking at. Is like,
Yeah,
say, if
he
you're
wants
if
that
you're
narrative to present it and
Right.
to support it.
if you're bucking the trend, great. Buck the trend. Show me where your usership's up because the nationwide argument is down.
Well, it depends. If you're looking strictly at circulation, I could say yes. But if you're looking at overall use of the library, that might not be, because people are coming in to the library for different reasons now than they used to come in. I mean, our circulation was up 3,000 over 2022, but our gate count was up 11,350 so far over last year. And our programming attendance is up 7,379. And I could tell just from, people have been telling me how crowded our programs are. The
registration.
the
If you
registration
look at the
fills up.
September
Fills up
calendar,
right away.
They
if the
fill up right
registration
away.
for those programs fill, you can't register for those, they're full already, even though it's
Why
on.
did you give this to me then?
I know, right?
Right. No, but see, that's how
Right.
I want to
Right.
argue at budget time. So when the Common Council, Michelle and her friends, other 5 friends get this, they want to know that what we're putting forth is not only in the best interest, but it's proven with the stats. I mean, I like to lead with the data. Lead with the data. Always lead with the data because you can't really argue with it. I mean,
Mayor,
yes,
sorry.
ma'am.
Would it help you also if Jennifer or
What's gonna
others
help you?
wanted to put together how some of the rooms are used, such as the Phaedra room that is generously donated to Lioness Club, and just the different things within the community?
Well,
Because you're quite busy, so you might not be aware of all the different things that we use those rooms for. That back when we were growing up in Franklin, although you were 5 years younger, I always like to.
I
throw
was
that-
5 years
I
younger.
do like
Thank
to
you.
throw that out there.
was.
Is when you remember when we were where the library was prior.
I never left Country Dale area.
It was in City Hall.
So yeah, it was in City Hall. It was super
Yeah.
tiny. It was so tiny for a while that, don't take offense, but a lot of times
No.
my parents would take me to the Greendale or Oak Creek Library.
Oh, they
because
said
it was
they were
like-
ready. They were done with me for a while.
yeah, we used to
because
go.
it was so small. And then
So,
when this library
I guess
was built, I
it's
put my
wonderful.
heart and soul into doing a lot of work.
Michelle,
They're dated now.
what
but I
would
did all the
help
window treatments
you
and all
as
the
a
interior design work.
council? What would help you as a council to determine the value of meeting the library's needs is ultimately going to be the ask from us.
Well,
How-
yeah.
what can you sell to the council to let them know that this is a important part of our community and it's important for us to support X, Y, and Z to get where we need to go.
Well, with the
let me-
library being in my district, as well as attending several meetings here from Lioness Club and so forth, and being a patron when I can come here and so forth, I don't, myself, I don't need tools to be able to sell the library that I believe in. It's more the tools to present to council members and newer council members and so forth. That's why I
Right.
think maybe if Jennifer could put together a spreadsheet, if you wouldn't mind, of
Well, I
showing all
can-
the different uses
I
and
can,
so forth that we use.
I have, the last 3 years, I've done presentations in front of the council.
Perfect.
For the community, yeah.
Are you good? Okay. So this is my question to you. So, and Danielle's going to talk a little bit more of the geek part of this, is the overspending. Okay? So let's just say, for example, it's what, 60 or 80, 70 grand difference from where we're at from last year to where you want to be this year. But what about the overspending portion of this? I mean, how's that going to not happen this year? How's that going to be curtailed? Because we
Well-
also have to talk about the tipping fees too.
You know, the problem is that we have a 21-year-old building that needs a lot of work. So last year, or this year, we need to replace, next year, we need to replace the carpeting.
I've been on the board for almost 5 years?
6 years.
Almost 6 years. There were 2 years in there that we spent, I don't know, 50,000 alone on just repairs
Yeah.
to our heating system.
And where are you at with that? Is that
I would-
been
this
dealt
is-
with?
Well, the
no.
repairs were done 2 years in a row
Repairs
to the
were
tune
done.
of 50 a year, but we haven't replaced it yet.
Because
So
IRS
that's-
says that
Yeah.
there's still life left in them.
24, correct?
IRS
Or
says
is
there's
that-
still life left in the boilers.
But that's where you might be thinking of the chiller
The
that has to
chiller.
be
The chiller.
replaced.
The chiller,
Right,
yeah.
yeah, the AC's
Yeah.
gonna get.
And
That's-
that cost us
That's
about
cost us,
30,000.
yeah.
That cost us 30,000, what, 2
This year?
years? 2
Or
years
2 years
ago.
ago, yeah.
When
And
they
those
had
were all
to-
unplanned. That's
Right,
just
I mean,
something
those
else.
were
Yeah.
like
And
repairs,
then-
that wasn't, yeah.
And that was not only repairs to the machine itself, but then it also did damage to the library because
That one, yeah.
So then it leaked all into the library, and thank God that we saw it right away because otherwise it would have leaked all over the computers. And then granted, it would have been an insurance claim, but still, like that's shutting down an area, and then that's the computers being down, and it was in the children's area. And
It's like a ripple effect.
Sure. Right.
I
Sure.
think we could probably articulate and make a good, strong case to increase it to the 70,000. But I'm a little concerned with the overspending.
Well, I wanted to say one other thing, that it was a big thing with Peggy, that we spend down our fund
And
balance.
that's what I just said, is
Yeah.
making sure
And
that-
we do have a fund balance, and we have been spending it down.
Mhm.
I guess our concern is we don't want to spend it down too much.
Too much, right.
Okay,
Because there is an agreement with the city, we can't go under 100,000, or we have to repay
So
out
you
of
have some sort of
operations.
longer term plan to know basically when to stop spending at that point of reaching.
Yeah, we have,
We
a-
have a capital improvement plan
Okay.
that details like what we're, like next year, we'd like to do carpet. You could
Okay.
see as you walk out, you see the condition of the carpet over here in the
Is
non-fiction.
so it was
that-
almost planned overspending, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because we have been requested for the past several years to spend
Right.
that down. So we planned to spend it down.
Sure.
So my
So-
only other thing is then, with the anticipation of spending it down, is that with the assumption that there will continue to be an increase in revenue coming in?
I think
Because I know
we're not
that-
gonna do we're not gonna do carpet every year. We're not gonna
No,
do,
but
you know
what
what I
I'm
mean?
saying
So
is
we
that
have
the
these
levy-
capital things that we have
Right.
put a 5-year
Right.
plan
They change every
and
year.
spread
Yeah,
out.
There's always a project.
Sure,
I know, I own
sure.
a home.
the tipping fee
No.
component to this is I'm concerned with.
Yeah.
But
You know,
can that balance be we cannot guarantee that balance will come back up because that has come to us from other things, right?
The fund balance?
Yeah, the fund balance that we're spending down it's not like it's something that we can guarantee. It's not like an income that
No,
is
it
always
will be
filled.
gone.
So
Correct.
And that's
eventually
why,
it'll just be
you know,
gone.
we've been spending it on capital improvements and building improvements.
Right.
Which is the way to go,
Right.
absolutely.
I mean, we really could use more hours and stuff for our employees, but we obviously can't use that
We're not
money
adding employees
for
to,
that.
right.
Right.
What's your position with the 20 grand tipping fee? I'm just concerned about the 20 grand tipping fees that are coming through that,
With all of us fairly new to that, I mean, I only know what I've been told is that it was a temporary solution, and that it will go away. I don't have a year, an idea as to when that would be. But
Tipping, the
Yeah,
landfill.
Landfill.
Siding,
Landfill
the siding piece.
okay, so
I mean,
landfills.
because there was no end date on that, so it's just, you know, how do we determine at what point do we take that back?
In a nutshell, for those that don't know how that worked, is I was on a siting committee about 14, 15 years ago, whenever that went through, and it was to expand the dump to the north. And with that expansion, it was supposed to be about $20 million over 18 years. And that was it. That was to be able to come to the city of Franklin, like somebody walked in, like the old Ted Fedro with a suitcase of money and put it here, and things got done. For anybody who knew Ted Fedro, wonderful man, did a lot for the city. But we don't know when it's going to end. So now what's happening is we got over $2 million last year because tipping fees have increased. Tipping has increased. They say tipping because a truck comes in and tips this load and leaves. So that's why they
Landfill,
get
the
that.
landfill
Okay.
siding.
Okay.
So it's
that's
landfill
okay.
siding, but if
Okay.
you're into the garbage realm,
Yeah.
it's like I'm learning,
It's called
it's called
tipping.
tipping.
Tipping,
So they
okay.
tip a truck and they tip
When
the
you
crap
say
and they leave.
tipping, you're talking about the line items.
They
landfill
tip the
siding.
trucks and they go.
Yes.
So what's happened is yes, we're getting more money now. However, it shortens the
Sure.
lifespan. So we're trying to balance that and trying to start to wean certain areas off of this because what the city dangerously did, recklessly did years ago was commit some of these funds where they should not have been committed to.
Sure.
And now I'm trying to right that ship before really, really bad things happen. And that's why we're
Well, if it
Part
wasn't,
of that they did because they were trying to make up for the fact that we weren't getting, some of the departments weren't getting a big increase in the levy. And that was a way to,
well, and that's how it's not supposed to be used. That's why they were. That's why I'm saying it was a scary way. So when Danielle's bringing that up, we're trying to get
Sure.
a handle on that and why, and that's why. Let's just say that request that you requested, that extra 70 grand to make.
90 with the tipping fees.
Well,
Yeah.
You're taking my thunder. So that extra amount of money, let's say it was without the tipping fee, and we're trying to get rid of that. I'm trying to bring in wherever I can bring that in, but still have good operations.
So where is it gonna go then if we're not getting it?
Where's it going to go?
I guess.
Well,
the
first of
assumption-
all,
Like if it's not 20,000 on our budget, where's that 20,000? Whose budget is it going to be
well,
on?
it's not going to be reallocated somewhere where it's
Okay.
not supposed to be.
Okay.
So there's certain criteria that when this originally came to Franklin, where we're supposed to spend it on roads,
Capital.
fire truck, whatever we wanted to do to put those things in, and that's where we're trying to get this money. And we're not. Look, that's why I'm asking if you got your ask,
Sure.
which is it doesn't seem to be an unreasonable ask,
Right.
but we want to know where we're gapping. I'm looking at maybe pulling another 20 grand back.
And when we had a conversation with Danielle, one of the things that we brought up that had been an issue for years that we never got an answer from was, okay, so here we are, we have the library, right? We've got a parking lot, we've got other things. Is there a line where we can draw where we can say, okay, the city takes care of this part of where the library is, and the library board's budget is responsible for taking care of everything else? Like we got, okay, so the parking lot, that's being taken care of by the city.
So you're talking
we
about
bought
like a
the
maintenance
chairs,
piece
yeah.
of it, like will the city take on the maintenance and take that from your budget? Or not from it, but
Sure.
We just
You
would
know,
like,
not
we would
having
just
part
like
of
to
your
know, because
budget,
from a
so that way
budgeting
the
standpoint,
costs come
whether
to the
it's
city, not to the
capital or
library.
whatever, if it's on the building or in the building or around the building, what are we
What
gonna
part
be
is our
responsible for? Because then we
responsibility?
can go ahead and put those numbers in and say, okay, planning from a capital standpoint, this is gonna come out of the fund balance. this we'll budget for out of our regular operations budget, this the city will take care of.
Well, I think it's almost been, it's because on the property, it's on the library's property, they're saying, okay, if it's on your property, you fix it, you take care of it, and you're gonna budget for it. And that's what I believe it's
It's
going.
repairs and replacements to the library building itself. The city owns the building.
Right.
And so the whole idea was that repairs and replacements to the building are the city's responsibility. And
Since they own the building.
since they own the building,
Right.
Do you guys
um,
pay, you guys don't pay a lease then to the city for using the building? I only say that because when I was in Waterford, that's
There was
how,
a-
it was ran the exact
arrangement,
same way. They owned the building, they repaired it, however, the library's operating budget did support a small leasing fee then over to, so.
And I prefer to not do that if we don't have
But
to.
I
Right.
did talk to Paul after I left their meeting. And it was almost unclear because it has been so unclear for so long.
Right.
It was more just as they came up, they made those decisions administratively. There was no.
Well, that's gotta put you in an uncomfortable situation, cause
What?
all of a sudden, something big comes up and then you pay for it, no, you pay for it,
And it seemed
Right.
as though that's kind of how it's always been, is that,
yeah.
you know, if it was to the actual building, the parking lot, that kind of stuff, it was covered by the city's capital budget. If it was the smaller repairs for the inside of the building and all that, it came from
Yeah.
the library's operating.
That would definitely make a nice line from for a planning standpoint, right?
Sure.
We can plan for all the things like the carpeting, new furniture, what the foundation can go ahead and provide funds for, and then other things like a chiller or parking lot or things like that. Oh yeah, the city will take care of it, just as long as we know.
And I guess,
That's all.
yeah, and I guess that would be one answer for that, the citing fee, the tipping fee. You know, if we have it, we use it on stuff like that. If we don't have it, then we ask you to use it on, you know what I mean? So.
like when we had that $30,000 repair on the
Right,
air
on the chiller.
2 years ago. You know,
Right.
the library paid for that.
Right,
Out of
we-
fund balance, but we
Right,
paid for it.
right. And so, you know, giving us, or allocating that tipping fee into our budget, we maybe cover some more of those major capital things instead of deferring to the city and saying, oh, we need the chiller fixed or whatever. So it's one way of looking at it. If it's not in our budget, then we maybe would have to reach out or spend that fund balance out until we couldn't anymore. But having it allows us then to do some of those things.
Don't we have the chiller put into the capital improvements fund?
Yes.
For the
Yes.
city? Okay.
Yep.
So we plan on
So
using
separate
some
from
library
this?
impact
Oh, we do,
fees.
okay.
on
So
that.
I'm gonna go back to your original question too, you know, what would we do, or that increase, even with
71.
glasses, it's hard, getting hard. The 1,442. Since 2015, the revenue from the city doesn't cover the mandated city increase for our city workers. And so, or it doesn't all cover the payroll, the increase in that. So, we can't use fund balance for payroll, you know, that kind of thing, so.
It's just not smart to do that
Well,
because it's
right.
not something that.
Right. So we struggle every year with the salary increases that the city are telling us we have to give our city employees, but not really funding it. So that's been a struggle that we have faced every year that I've been on the board.
And I think that's
Since
something we could
2015.
probably go back and discuss, because I mean, until I met with you all last time and we talked on Friday, I understand it more now.
Right, sure.
Previously,
Sure,
yeah,
so
I can see
everybody
where that could
except
be
for
a-
Jennifer, Carey, and Maureen are city employees.
Well, they're civil service.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So they get the,
They get the
increase
increase.
on top and the, market increase as well.
Yeah.
So it's, so the that's why.
Right, and we don't have a
discuss it. We don't just
choice.
get
That's
the
not
increase.
something we can,
I want from this market increase.
right, but that's not something we can
No.
choose or not choose
I
to do.
understand.
So
I'm-
that's, so I just
I'm
wanted
being
to make
facetious,
sure,
but-
yeah.
No, we
Yeah.
are gonna have to look into the
Yeah.
things to come with a final decision, with where we're at.
Mhm.
But
Our-
I'm just,
Our ask is really, we're not asking for anything that's different or big. It's really like just to cover inflation. That's all we're asking.
city,
So if
yeah,
you,
payroll.
if we don't get, then you're cutting our budget. And if you're cutting our budget, then we're going to be, have to taking employees, programs, all those things will have to be getting cut.
Well, and that was my
Yeah.
kind of initial argument is, okay, if we give you that 70 grand, are you able to continue X, Y, and Z and do everything?
No.
Well, how could you not? Because you just, that's your ask.
If we don't get that money, we will have to make.
Yeah, you said
if we
got
do.
that.
Oh, if
If
we
you got
do,
that.
then,
Yes,
yes, if you give, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. Then yes,
That
then
happens
we'll
to
be
me all
able
the
to
time.
continue, yeah.
There would probably still have to be some minor cuts here and
Yeah.
there because the 118 and if you take away this landfill siting fees, it would be 138,000.
Oh, yeah, we would need everything that we asked.
So yeah, we would, there would still have to be cuts.
Even if,
Without the tipping fees is what they're saying.
right.
Yeah, we would need everything that we were asking for because we weren't over asking for anything. It was really a pretty
It's just
strict.
a straightforward
Yeah.
increase, yeah.
Yeah, on the 118, we'd still have to do some trimming. But there's some strategies I could use.
Well, and just so you know, like everybody here, except for Jennifer, we all, oh, I don't know about Annalee. Oh, except for Annalee, and who's our superintendent. We are Franklin residents. We live here. We're getting taxed here. Our taxes are going towards our community, so we get it. You
That's
know,
what I
we
said
get.
earlier.
Yeah, we
Yes.
don't want our money wasted.
So yeah,
I have
right,
many,
right.
many questions as to where that money was going and why did everybody quickly leave their jobs over at City Hall.
So we.
So I get it.
Anytime you want to come over,
Yeah.
I'll lay it all out for you. So
Yeah.
during
Yeah.
the campaign, I'll lay it all out.
I'd
for you.
Right.
be happy to answer that as well.
So we
Yeah.
are definitely, on the side of working
With
to
you.
be good stewards of the money
As
that
are
the
we.
city is
As are
giving
we.
us. So yeah, just so
And we're
that's
trying.
clear
We-
too.
We
Yeah.
want to partner with you. We
Yep.
really do. We want to provide you with what you need.
Yep.
Well, I
It's-
gotta thank you all for coming. because
Yes,
this
so
is
much.
what we have.
Absolutely, yes.
So much. I mean, when we have asked,
It's always been
it's
the
great.
mayor's budget, and then we never had a conversation.
We never had a
about that
conversation.
Well,
like this.
if you don't mind me coming back and loitering, there'll be more of these.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
because I mean, again, I lived here my entire life.
Yeah.
You know, I'm what? How many years younger than you?
5 years. I was in eighth grade at Forest Park when
I'm
you were a
actually
senior in
older,
high
but
school.
she's just being messing with me. But I'm saying, how we grew up, this was never here. We never had this as kids. This is wonderful.
I know.
And
Kids love this.
and Kelly's got 4 children, lives a block that way. I mean, she's right here.
She's one of my neighbors.
Yeah, we're neighbors.
Oh,
Oh,
really?
really?
Yeah.
We ran into each other.
And
But-
Tony and Gina are my back gate neighbors.
Tony Becker.
Yeah.
Tony and I go
Oh,
way
I know,
back.
he told
I
me
mean,
all the time.
Pepsi
Yeah.
fan club is in
Yeah.
first grade. I mean, we were. That's. I mean, anyway.
Yeah.
So.
But, well, and ultimately, we really care. We're invested. This isn't just a job for us.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
This is. I left a really easy, stress-free job to come into this. My head's about to explode almost every day. And I did it because I really believe in making things right here in Franklin, and I really believe in John because I know where his heart lies. So, we're here to support you and to make the city better.
Uh-oh.
guys just mind if I close this? We can't.
We
have
can't
it
allow
out. It's
to.
an open meeting,
It's-
but it'll get quieter.
Okay, were there any final questions from the board or any?
And I'd like to offer this up. If there's somebody has something outside of this, call me.
Yeah.
I mean, I 100% accessible, and that's just how we operate now. That's how City Hall operates, and trust me, there's a lot of internal pushback on this, a lot. And this is one of the many battles I didn't think existed.
Right.
6 years as an alderman, I didn't experience all this insanity. So there's a lot of things, internal culture that we're trying to change, and it's all about transparency. It's where's the money, where's it going, all these things.
How is it being
So-
spent?
And we're still learning that too.
Sure.
We're just trying to dig into this, and it doesn't help that we're coming in at budget
Budget
season.
time.
Yeah,
Right.
budget
So-
time.
For sure.
But if we all work together on it,
Absolutely.
we're gonna end up in a good spot.
Yes.
I would really, really enjoy if this is all I had to, if every department came through like this with these minor increases with carry-on, this would be like just butter. So I thank you all for your time. Thank you for allowing us to come in and talk.
You're welcome.
But we are going to continue this dialogue. You're going to know
Absolutely,
where to stand.
thank you.
And if you have other questions, please reach out.
Yeah.
You know,
Yep.
anything you see on those, on what we submitted or any of the line items, just go ahead and ask.
Well,
I'm
thank
at
you.
City Hall
Yes. And-
quite a bit,
Oh,
Thank you.
and
for-
always accessible
Yes,
as well.
thank you three for your
That's-
time.
are you
Yes,
staying for
thank
the
you.
whole meeting, or
Oh, yes,
She's
I-
on
she's
the
on
library.
board.
You appointed
Yes.
her to the library board, of course she's
Knowing-
staying.
yes, knowing an eighth of how incredibly busy each of you three are. Thank you for your
Yeah.
time.
Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
I was gonna
Appreciate
stay
it.
for a little
Good,
while.
Danielle's going
Oh,
to stay.
wonderful.
Here you
All
are.
right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank
We'll see you
you
tomorrow.
all.
Nice
You
to
gonna be
see
good
you.
tomorrow?
Yes.
Strong? Tomorrow's chicken and rice soup day. Point after.
Oh.
Have a good one.
Thank you.
For your voice.
Okay, just to finish up, so we don't have to touch on it again later. Any other discussion? Do we have a plan going forward from this? Jennifer, did you get a list of some of the things that the mayor kind of wanted outlined, the information and how he wants to see it? Anything else that the board wants to comment on that discussion or recommendations to Jennifer to?
When I go through the budget,
Yes,
I note that there are items that year after year we budget using numbers, 9,000, and year after year we spend 15,000. And it drives me nuts that we don't budget what we know we're going to do.
I agree. Yeah.
Because we don't really, we don't have this really nailed down.
Well, and I think some of it, again, we are expecting the foundation, and there are certain areas that the foundation typically, and so I think some of those areas,
Yeah. and-
There's a
and
reason for
the-
that.
And the foundation
That would
numbers
be-
come in on our financials and miscellaneous revenue.
right,
Miscellaneous revenue is zero, and we still budget all the expenses.
right,
It's,
Because I can't budget a donation.
right.
I don't know if I can, I never know. You know, I don't know until the foundation
Well, I mean,
meeting.
we've pretty much set, what, 11 grand a year? So you could budget for that.
We could start,
And then anything out above and beyond would be miscellaneous revenue.
I mean, a budget is your best guess as to what's gonna happen. To budget the miscellaneous revenue from donations, you could do that.
And that's in our budget, the foundation's budget.
Mm-hmm.
So you could go off
There
of
we
that
go.
number if we set that every year.
It just reminds me though, I have come across this in other organizations and that, the thing about, there just are some things that even though they're pretty regular, you still can't budget for. In other words, saying, and I thought this thing like,
the foundations,
yeah,
Yeah.
or that if it's just a matter of, well, somebody always comes through with, somebody out
always.
there, somebody always comes through with the money, but it's
Oh,
not,
Okay, I was the president of a church.
yeah,
Everything is donations. You
Sure.
have to budget something.
no, I understand
And,
that.
and no reason that you can't do that.
Well, and I think as
You-
far as the foundation is concerned, if it's in the
Your
foundation's budget
budget.
to donate 11 grand in Jennifer's wish list every year,
That
you
would
can
be
go
fair
off
for
of
us.
that.
That'd be fair.
Right.
that would be something, once we set the budget, we could report to you, and then that can go in as a line item in the budget.
It's gonna have to go in like the second meeting in the, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because foundation only meets 3 times a year.
Mm,
And by the fall meeting, I've
Right.
already done the budget.
right. We could go off the
So-
previous year's,
Yeah, we could go off the
Number-
previous year.
just as our best guess,
Yeah.
you know?
We'll bump it up. this
And,
year.
and other things that are going on in this budget, we put in increases for inflation
Mm-hmm,
and different percentages.
mm-hmm.
But one of the things that's happening this year is we're getting incredible return on investment,
Right.
which is not guaranteed any year. It's just like a donation, but we're getting it now. How do we more properly reflect what we
Right.
think is
More
going to happen next year?
conservative for that number.
And still be conservative, yeah.
Well, what do we, you know,
Well,
maybe
are you
for
gonna
that number?
Take the money out of the investment. I mean,
What do you mean, take it out?
No, it's a city.
right.
City fund. What if we do an average of the past 5 years?
On
And use
investments?
But
Yeah.
you
I don't
don't
know.
know if
Is
it's
that a
gonna
good?
crash
I'm just
tomorrow.
trying to toss out, like, how do you predict for that? I mean, I'm just tossing out one possibility.
We were losing money last year.
Right,
on,
I know.
On some months, and now the return is really good because the inflation
Right.
has driven up interest rates.
Right.
And I'm sure most of the investments are interest-based investments.
Right, so in order to guess that amount, right? Could you just use an average, pick a time period and say, well, just every year we'll just average the past X amount of time and
Don't
use
you
that as
usually
their
go
best
off at a
guess?
standard 8%?
I don't know what they're calculating it on.
Do you know?
So, I was gonna wait till you guys were done talking.
That's
And
right,
then tell us
she's
what we
sitting right
got.
here, she would answer this.
Feel free to step in.
How we're doing it at City Hall is all the investment accounts that we have, we're taking the ending fund balance from 22 and multiplying it by 4.5% and using that.
Yeah, but we don't get a standard amount every single month. It's different. Like this past
It
month.
fluctuates, you're right, which is why we just use the ending I mean,
It-
your fund balance can be really high right at the beginning of the year, and then as you get closer to the end of the year, your fund balance is really low. So, your investment is going to change so much. That's why we
Yeah.
just do the 4.5 and use your ending balance of 22.
In June, we got about $5,000 on investment income.
Mm-hmm.
In July, we had over 8,000.
I mean, you guys are already at 51 grand, but we would rather be on the low side, which is why we're just taking the ending fund balance from
Okay.
22 and
22.
moving forward. And that was, again, probably not how I would have done it, but that's how it has been done for so long, and that was the, not expectation, but that was the advice given to me to do going forward, and that's, like I said, I would rather really under budget revenue and interest than over budget it and have departments spend it and then it not be there next year.
All right,
We,
Oh,
I think
And
we
that's
tried-
why I only put 20 grand in, even though I knew you guys have already had 20 or 51,000 and 23 already. So
I think Jennifer leans towards a zero-based budget. So, kind of start at ground zero.
right,
And work up the numbers that we think we're gonna do, not just add 5%. That's what I do to come up with something to get a vision as to where do we think we're gonna be.
Alan's the accountant,
Workable
so those
both
are the
ways.
numbers I put in here.
right.
that's the department request. That's the numbers that you put in, Jennifer.
I put in whatever Alan tells me to.
She surrounds herself with helpful people,
Yeah,
right?
you always have to have an
She's
accountant
smart.
and a lawyer.
Right.
And a
Electrician.
lawyer,
Right.
and a mom, and moms, yeah, you gotta have a
Right, right.
diverse board.
All right, so anything else regarding the budget? Right, thank you. We are going to go now back up to the beginning of the agenda
Yeah.
and approve our meeting, our minutes from last month, the July 24th, 2023 regular meeting. Nicely done, Mike.
Thank you. I'll make a motion to approve them as written.
Are you allowed to do that? I second. Any questions or comments on the minutes? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Annie, if you need a sub for
I could use a sub like every month.
We already took care of this. You
You're
were
right.
there last
That's,
month.
you weren't here last month. Yeah, okay. All righty. Agenda item 5, the finances. Alan, do we want to approve our invoices first?
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do. We-
I went over the invoices. There was nothing that jumped out at me at all. In Department 15. It was,
It's 3152 for dust free, that's every month.
that's everything.
As long as we have them.
Yeah.
Okay,
I make a
then.
motion, we approve it.
I second it. Any other questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstain? Motion carries. And then Fund 16?
Same thing.
I make a motion, we approve them.
I second. Any questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstain? Excellent.
Then, going through the financial reports, we're at 58.08% of the year. Our revenue is, in Fund 15, is 96.65% of the budget. And the net investment earnings I have was not reported in June or July timely, and that's what I wrote up, and what
Okay.
Jennifer wrote up, because she changed it, because she got the numbers.
Whoa,
I did.
in your report or in?
No, I-
She put it
In the actual
She
spreadsheet.
fixed my report to put it in the packet, so now I have to switch over and read it. Came in-
Sorry.
Or-
I was trying to be efficient.
No, it was the right thing to do, thank you. Earnings were 8,180 in June and 5,015 in July.
I think just the opposite.
Wait, yeah.
Just the
Then
opposite.
there's- Yeah, in
Yeah.
June was 5,015.
Okay.
Okay, total expenditures were 59.2% of the budget, so we're running a little stronger than the part where we are in a year. What's doing that is the sundry
Yes.
contractors, dust free. And holiday pay and vacation pay were higher than normal in July, and I said that was not unexpected.
Yeah.
It was a good vacation time. Our electric bill took a bit of a jump.
And it's high again.
That's because it was a
It's gonna
hot
be-
summer.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be high again in August.
Yes, very high.
My-
Mine did too.
My bill at home was up, but it was 33 days, and I'm wondering, because I don't see your
Weird
bill.
stuff like that.
if the
I
number
don't
of
get a
days-
detail from I get the
Yeah.
city just.
Just your
just
portion
this is-
of the city.
This is your
yeah.
portion of the city. So I don't see like the We Energies bill like you see at home.
Yeah,
It very likely could have been a longer, but I'm telling you, I already approved the August number and it's.
another
high.
ugly one?
It's another ugly one.
Yeah.
That was really hot though.
That was, yeah.
Okay, and other than that,
At least we've had air conditioning.
Right, that's
Yeah.
worked.
I got paranoid, made Bob come over and test the AC
Oh.
on Thursday.
Right,
He's like, you're just being paranoid.
yeah.
Yeah,
Well.
I'll take it.
exactly. Fund 16.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah.
Well,
and I have
So-
some comments before you move on to.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So, mine is about the contractor. Is that what were you gonna, okay. So even though there's the question about starting date and the overlap and all of that, going forward, can we figure that, can we get that right?
You talking about the.
The cleaning?
She was working on it.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the first thing I'll state is, I see that we haven't credited you the 20,000 for your landfill siding, so I'll make sure that we get on that,
Oh, okay.
so that it'll show for your next meeting. And then yes, after Jennifer and I talked, so that was Friday, I had already put together, and of course I forgot the amount. But I have Tom
Right.
working on, adjusting the intergovernmental charges between
Right.
maintenance and everything so that it's adjusted as of January, because I think we only had, January was, one of the people was gone, and then as of March, the second person was gone or something, so it was a
Right.
drastic change.
Yeah.
And then
that's
Dust
it.
Free started
April.
April.
Correct,
At
so
some
you'll
point,
see
so
the
yes.
higher charges
Okay.
in dust free, but then your interdepartmental charges will be way down. And like I
Gotcha.
said, he has did the adjustment because your reports are only ran through July. It just hasn't been approved for the August yet, but it
Gotcha.
will be.
Okay.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
for-
When you make that adjustment, are you gonna make that adjustment in August, or are you gonna back post it and change every month?
No, it's just gonna be one big adjustment in August,
Okay, good,
and then
So the year-to-date
it'll be
number is
changed
still
going forward.
okay. It's just that I noticed in this monthly's report, there were a couple of accounts that the amount I added for the month, added to the last month's total balance, wasn't the new month's total balance. Electric bill,
Okay,
I think there was an extra one that dropped into June
Yeah.
that we didn't have by the time we got
Oh,
this
okay.
report.
so you have an extra month, you're saying, in your,
Yeah, but it hit in June and I just threw it in June and I updated my June column instead of running it through July. So that everything is still matching up.
when you get those reports, cause I'm not really sure how Tom sends them to you, does he only send just like the balances? He doesn't send you a detail
I
of the
cr-
charges?
I create them in BSNA
Okay,
under report profiles.
oh,
until
so
I-
you can get the details of each?
I get, when he has questions, I get the details. So I just click on the number and it shows me exactly what was
Okay,
spent. It just doesn't
Yeah.
print out for him.
right, okay,
If there's
I
an
just wanted to make
easy,
sure
if
that-
there is an easy way to do it, where like I could print, because he oftentimes will question that, and then I have to go into BSNA. So if I
I
could,
can just have Tom send you a detailed report when he sends you the other one.
Okay.
Of all the all the charges for those accounts.
okay,
So yeah.
Well, how deep in, okay, because we get our report for June, we got it July 20th, somewhere in there.
It was a little late. What we try and do is send them out right after the 15th because the 15th is when we get the interest from ADM. But because I was so new, I came on June 12th. I had asked Tom to let me review them, and it took me a little longer to review them before I had him send them out. And I don't even know if you've gotten your July ones yet.
not yet.
Okay, then that could be why,
Yeah.
because I've just been,
Mhm.
because I want to double check them
Yeah, for
before they
sure.
go out because I've never seen them before.
Right.
So.
It always seems like the city portion of the stuff isn't in often until,
Later on in the month.
it used to be like the 15th,
Mhm.
but now I've
We
even
always-
noticed it's, because if I have an early board meeting, sometimes I don't have
We
them.
don't have it,
What
yeah.
what kind of charges are you talking about?
Well, the interest on
right, so that-
investments.
That
Yeah.
I can make
It's
sure. I know
mostly-
they
I
come
think it's
in on the
mostly interest
15th, so I
on
can make
investments.
Yep,
sure
and
he
this
gets
last month
those
it was
put
the
in.
extra electric bill.
And the electric bills are,
Okay.
Mhm.
I'll just make a note of that.
All right, any other, Danielle?
Nope,
Any
those
other?
were
Okay,
the two.
now Fund 16.
Fund 16, total revenue was 73.06% of the budget.
8.6. I did change that one.
Good, thank you. Okay, I'll switch to your report then. And the net investment earnings were 435, and June was 543, so those are remaining strong. Taxable sales was reduced by 159.79 for the sales tax. And that wasn't in there right away either, but I don't know when sales tax is filed, and you probably want it to be in the right quarter. Miscellaneous revenue, remember this is an offset for programming. Expenditures were a total of 81.79% of the budget. Software maintenance was a larger one of $1,503, and that is an annual charge, so you shouldn't see anything additional there. Other than those accounts, everything looked as anticipated. And the cash register report was
Perfect,
Perfect.
as
That'll be.
usual. Super. All right. That it? Credit card?
Sure, I just didn't know if anybody had any
Oh,
questions
questions
on
on Fund 16?
the,
Or
on 15 or 16.
Yeah.
This report that does the month by month. The only thing that is small, but it happened that the employee HSA contribution was $250, and that was this one time, and I don't think we had a budget for that. I don't remember right offhand. But it's $250.
Yeah.
Typically, the city doesn't budget for that
Okay.
across the board. Some of the personnel charges.
So everything ran pretty smooth. Nothing out of the ordinary. Credit card report. This is one of the lower numbers that we've had to running through the credit card. So,
That's because we're done with summer
Right.
reading.
Yeah.
so I didn't have a whole lot of comments on that either, because there's, again,
That's a low one.
it's pretty normal.
Now, that total that shows in rewards points, that's the balance?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think one time, like in the spring, Mike, there was, then she showed what we spent. So if she does that,
When-
it shows up
yeah,
there.
so-
Cashes them in.
Yeah.
When I
Yeah, I
cash
just didn't
them
know
in-
if this
Yeah.
was like a total
Oh,
thing,
for
like
the
this
year?
is all the
Okay.
stuff we earned for
Oh.
the year, even though we spent some of it?
Oh,
Oh, no, that's what we have right now.
Okay.
Because we spent like, what, 30,000 points on summer reading prizes?
Okay, and the next part in the financial area was the budget from the mayor, and we already discussed
Yep.
it. So I think I'm done. If anybody has any questions?
all right. Super. Thank you very much, as always, Alan.
You're welcome.
Appreciate it. Under new business, we covered agenda item A. So the next item is parking lot lighting.
Okay, well, I had
Couple
it on
things
here.
happened, yes.
I had it on here because I thought we were gonna have an issue.
Right.
Because last Wednesday, when I left at 8:30, I had to use my phone flashlight to get to my car.
Yeah,
Because it was
'cause
pitch
the
black
lights were
up there.
not
There were
installed.
no lights.
Yeah.
Well, and
So I
with
thought
the
that,
parking lot in the condition that it's in now, you
Yes.
gotta be careful how you walk.
so I thought, we're gonna have to close the library early pretty soon if we don't get parking lights. Well, like literally the next day,
Day.
they installed the parking lots. So we really don't.
But it was
need
already
to
on the
talk about-
agenda.
It was on the agenda already,
Posted, so, okay.
We talked about it.
We talked about it.
Yeah.
Good job. All right, see?
They're installed and they're spectacular.
There's
Ah, we have a
still-
photo if you
Yeah.
want to see it. Okay, we'll go on to agenda item
Hopefully
C.
the rest of the person will get done.
Yeah, I know.
September 17th, and I'll give that update.
Okay.
During your report. 6C, study room policy. The last time we looked at this was 2018. So Jennifer, in red.
But it says it was revised in 2021.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah,
Look
we
at
made a
that.
small revision in 2021.
Thank you.
But yeah.
So in red, there are some more small revisions.
Well, Maria, after you and I had our agenda meeting,
Yes.
I was stewing about the study rooms.
I had some questions about
And
them.
then,
Oh,
Which-
yeah.
so I started thinking, and then
Yes.
literally like Friday morning on my way to a library director's retreat
Yeah.
and going on autopilot and just thinking
Yeah.
about study rooms. I thought, why can't we turn the local history room into a small group study room? We already use this
Yes.
overflow study room
Yeah.
anyway.
Yeah.
Oh,
We
yeah. I
don't-
like that little room.
We don't really have a lot of local history because we have a nice historical society across the
Yes.
street.
Yes.
And we do have some things that we still would need to keep kind of like away from the public, but we have a lot of stuff in there that actually
Yeah.
could go out into the
Oh,
nonfiction area.
Okay.
And we could pretty much clean that room out,
Okay.
repaint it,
Oh, turn it
'cause
into a real study.
and turn it into a study room and
So
call
this-
it. And Carrie and I both liked, because I was like, oh, do we call it small study
Small one?
3?
Yeah.
And she goes, no, because it's not really the small study.
Right. Those are single rooms.
So we decided to call it the small group study because you actually could get 4 people in there.
Sounds good.
So the hilarious thing is, the one time I actually wanted to look at a historical thing, it was being used as a study room.
Yeah. So another good reason
To pull that stuff out, yeah.
Really.
Anyways. Okay, so does anybody have any questions about the study room policy or the changes that were made? Really, the changes were just adding that other
Okay.
room.
No.
Okay? Do I have a motion to?
Oh, motion to,
Did we motion that?
I think
Guess
we
have to approve it.
motion to
accept the
accept
changes.
yeah, with the changes made to
Policy.
reapprove. What is that term?
Reaffirm.
Reaffirm.
With changes made.
There we go.
Yeah.
Doris said that. Do I have a second?
Yes.
Alan. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Anybody opposed or abstain? Motion carries. All right. Old business. Committee assignments. We put this off because there were several people missing last month. Does anybody want to change committees right now? Here are our current committee assignments. Alan, Terry, and Mike are on finance. Annie, and Michelle are buildings and grounds, and then myself, Doris, and Judy Williams-Kalaki are personnel. Is everybody
I'm
happy?
good. Yep.
Okay, done. Council actions relating to the library. Michelle, your agenda item 8.
Thank you. I have nothing too new and exciting at this time to update in regards.
Okay,
As soon as I do, you'll be the first.
That was
to know,
hilarious
so.
that the mayor asked if you were staying for the meeting. Well, of course she is. She's our.
He's new to the job.
That's
Yeah,
true.
and he knows that
know.
I've
I
got some
just-
personal
it's kinda
things
like
going
fun.
on and so
Okay,
forth. So that could have been his.
Okay.
That could have been his.
You thought that was cute.
He's
concern
also been
and so forth.
golfing since like 6 a.m., so his mind's
Right, right.
I don't think his mind ever shuts off. It's non incredibly nonstop.
Gotcha. All right, agenda item 9, the update on the Franklin Public Schools matter. I am going to read the awesome report that Annalie sent me. So just imagine her voice here. With the coming off of summer, my updates from the district are: we welcome staff back tomorrow through Thursday. We welcome students back on Tuesday. We have special guests joining a few of our schools the first day, and they include Mayor Nelson at Franklin High School and Countrydale Elementary, and then also the Wisconsin DPW is going to be at Robinwood Elementary School, our Blue Ribbon Award-winning school. We are continuing our Gear Up professional development with staff during 5 of our 6 professional development days throughout the school year. The first on September 27th, and we are hopeful to again partner with the library to come in and offer sessions for our staff. We are open to any ideas and will also reach out with ideas we gain from the staff. Thank you, Annalie.
Said with such emotion.
I know. I read aloud to the girls every day, so I'm used to that, But so you guys obviously have that line of communication for these professional development days, so you all know what you're doing. Great. Super. Okay. I would say, are there any questions for Annalie? But I can't answer them, and she's not going to answer. So thank you for
She knows
putting that
sign language
together.
and she tells
Right,
it to
right,
our
right.
kids.
Did you bring a grease board?
Right.
Right.
Okay, the Personnel Committee is next on the agenda, and we met August 10th. You can see our minutes there. We did have a little conversation about the budget, which was discussed. We also are going to be looking at developing a long-term plan for adding staff to the library. So that is something that is necessary, and so we'll be working on that. And then we didn't make any changes to Jennifer's job description. She had just done a major redo of it last year, so that would look good. And then we as a committee did not make any changes to the evaluation, but we did just want to run it past you guys in case there was anything that, I know we did a major revision of the evaluation question, or last year. And I know we ran it past you last year, but was there anything that you noticed on the evaluation? This will not come out until October, November. So we're way ahead of ourselves.
But while we're at end of August.
I know, that's
so
true.
By the committee meeting again in September, so.
Oh,
not really.
you know what, I had a question for you. 2022 goals?
Because we attached them.
Did
we
have
attached
20
them to the
Oh,
email.
I see, yes, so,
And
right.
then we had also attached Jennifer's.
Job description.
Job description.
Yep, which we'll do also.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so any questions or comments on that?
Can I make one? Okay, you talked about, we're looking over, okay, so I did talk to Dana.
Yes, okay.
Okay, so you
Thank you.
guys can rewrite mine,
Maureen's
Carrie's
and
and
Carrie's,
Maureen's.
yep.
You can do whatever you want with
Oh.
ours,
With your job
the
description.
3 management person.
And.
But
okay.
everybody else would have to go through the common council.
Oh, I see.
So what Dana said was you still look them over, still make changes in red,
I see.
and then she would.
Oh, just submit them.
Mhm.
Okay.
and
But
then
we
she
have to
will-
do that? Well,
Well, because
Yes.
remember, we just wanted to
yeah,
reword
yeah,
them.
right.
We probably
Or is that
do
something you and
want
Carrie
to.
were going to work on since they're under?
Well, I
Is that a
suppose, I
priority,
suppose.
or can everybody work under the current job description?
They can, the city had asked all department
The
heads
city was
to
kinda
look
looking at
job description.
Did you look at them?
Reviewing. Yeah, there's some things
There
that
you
were
go,
changed.
you looked at it, you met the
I do want to
requirement.
change some things.
Well, and my question to Jennifer was, there's for the past several years, there's been talk of the city going to merit-based evaluations or merit-based increases, and does the city want all those job descriptions in the same format? And so that was really our concern. Are we all of a sudden like gonna have to rewrite everything to match the city template? And we didn't want to do too much work if the city in 3 months from now is going to hand us a template.
Absolutely.
So that was really the question. And
So
as
the
of
three-
now, we can do whatever we want. And
So
in
to
3
answer
months
Mike's
from now,
question, really all you guys have to look at are the three management.
right?
Carrie,
right.
Moran, and
we'll
I
still
can
be-
make
yeah.
changes to the others,
Yeah.
because there are some that need to
Okay.
be changed.
All right.
Yeah, which
And
you
then
guys
maybe
would know
once
that
you
better.
guys change them, we'll then peek at them too. So, all right. That was the personnel committee.
So I don't know, did anybody read over these prior to the meeting, the evaluations?
Sure.
Did you find anything that you guys felt should be adjusted?
Yeah, it was way too long.
We shortened them up from
We did, oh my
years
God.
ago.
They look really long.
Jennifer doing a good job? Yes, no. If no, why? Done.
Well, if yes, why is a good question too.
No, we
Yeah.
need to
They
keep,
go
really
we need to
fast
keep
with
the
you.
categories.
Maybe
Yes,
that's how.
yes.
Because otherwise they won't be meeting the different
Right, yeah.
plans.
Oh.
And
Right,
you
they
guys
have to
will say-
align with the
and
action
all the
plan
goals
and the strategic
and-
plan, yeah. Right. Nice try, Alan.
And you didn't keep the meeting
So
moving.
when we get 8
Right.
evaluation forms and one's missing, we'll know who to bug about it, right? Okay, my report, I was here.
Wait, did anybody want to
Oh,
say anything about those?
Oh, I'm
was
sorry, I
just-
thought,
I
sorry.
would just say that
He did.
even though that all of the goals are after the evaluation form, we should definitely have that stuff drive what the result is, right? So if
Yes.
we're talking about programming, okay, so these were the goals for programming, blew them out of the water, should get an excellent, right? So there should be no question, right? And that's one of the reasons why went to being objective, so there's something we could measure, and then it would
Right.
be easy to
Right.
see where that ends up.
So are you saying, would you like to embed those in the evaluation
Oh.
form
goal.
ahead of the questions?
Because we did write the goals to go along with this, remember?
Yes, and he's saying that's what.
All I'm
we
saying is
should
that
be
as you're looking through it,
evaluating
you know, when
this
you
based
get
on
to
the
the end, you're gonna need to have them side by side.
goal. Right.
Oh, okay, so you want us to maybe break up the goals and put them
Do you think having them embedded?
in there?
Along of where it should go, I think would be helpful.
Okay, let me
Think
look at
about
that,
it.
yeah. Let me see.
Your body language is, oh, that's a lot of work.
Yeah,
Google form.
Google Forms are not my favorite, but, okay, that,
That
I
would
will
be
look
helpful.
into that.
Yeah.
Yes, you're right, it would be helpful, so I will.
Or put them before the evaluation instead of,
I love all
Wow.
these orders.
I know.
Yeah, I'm gonna make some notes about that.
Okay. Anything else on the evaluations?
Very good, thanks.
Thank
Ed.
you.
Thanks for coming.
Right now, we'll go on to agenda item 11. I attended National Night Out. I was at the library table on August 7th. It was
Handing out
very
Reese's
well
Puffs.
attended and very fun. I made a contact at the Ware Nature Center, and I don't know if they contacted the library yet. I was there for a totally separate meeting, but they expressed a need, and I said, hey, the library has the
A good friend of
equipment
mine works there.
to do that. They were looking at doing some film conversions, and I'm like, contact the library. So I think the Ware Nature Center forgets that they're in Franklin.
I
And
forget
so-
that the Ware Nature
Right.
Yeah.
So that was nice. She was super excited about that. We met as a personnel committee, and then I meant to do this last month, but some of us have been getting these emails, trusty emails, and then I hear that some of us are not getting them. Are you getting them or not? From the DPI?
You had to sign up to get them.
No.
No, they just started showing
Yeah.
up.
I got an email saying, "Do you want these?" And I said, "Yeah." And
Was this like
then
a couple months ago?
Yeah.
Or- okay, but you've never gotten them. Okay.
You know,
I
could've
got
gone to-
them.
Not sure.
I got
Could've
them
gone
when
to-
we
Either
all
way,
had
email.
signed a form, and then it seemed like they all popped in.
Do you want to just,
I can find
I
out
don't know.
from Shannon. I was at a meeting with her on Friday.
you were or you will be?
I'm the only one who
was.
got the email saying, do you want to get these emails?
Yeah, I didn't get an email.
I don't remember getting one asking me. I just started getting
Yeah.
them.
I can ask Shannon.
I guess I was gonna ask, if people wanted to.
Is DPI
I
in the
just,
subject
I
Shannon
get
line?
3 a
Schultz.
day, I could always just forward them on to you.
I always think like, oh, I should look into one of these.
Shannon
and then I never have
Schultz.
time to do it. Because they're supposed to be like.
And it's not just the trustee training. They've been
oh,
on all
that's the
different
one I
things.
see.
I
I think
don't
I only
know.
get the trustee training ones.
What was it exactly that you got though? Because I'm gonna have a meeting, a call-in meeting in a couple of weeks, so.
They're,
Good time to ask somebody.
yeah. Or I can just email Shannon.
There's one that was for July, new resource in Wisconsin
Yep.
library buildings and spaces.
Yep.
You know, so they're,
Okay.
So you are getting them.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought he said he wasn't.
I got enough emails that I could get them and not know. So-
Right,
Exactly.
okay, all right. Well, they seem to be more than just for the trainings now. They seem to be all offering all kinds of resources and information and stuff, so.
I also did a salary and compensation study
Yes.
statewide, so I'm
Yes.
sure that probably.
well, if that's the
would be
case, do
nice.
we want, when we get these things, do we need to decide whether that's an agenda item that we should be looking
don't
at?
think it's-
Or
It would be a
That
lot,
kind of-
like, it's a lot.
It's, and I'm not sure that
Maybe
it's
some
that.
things.
It's like a part-time job,
or what?
all the information they're sending out.
Well, I should probably read it more.
And
I
webinars.
think that sounds like something the secretary needs to filter through and decide. if-
Like maybe.
Just because you're on this side of the table. don't
Yeah.
No, Annie sounds like she's volunteering for that job.
No, that's the way I would.
Yeah, right,
Something
I'm-
that you think should be.
If I see something, I'll say something.
Yeah.
If I see something, I'll forward it.
Sure,
Well,
sure.
it'd be
Or
nice
any
if-
of us, really.
Yeah.
And then
they
we
sent,
can decide at the agenda meeting if that should go
Absolutely,
on the
yeah.
agenda.
Or somebody
Okay.
take these trainings and just give us some clip
We have
notes.
done that in the past. So, yeah.
No, but if they sent, from time to time, sent something saying, these are recent communications, let us know if you check here, if they had some option like that you were just looking at the headlines and could get
Oh,
into it, that would be helpful.
right,
But yeah, if you're not in the profession,
right. Some of them have nothing,
Sure.
aren't really relevant.
Okay.
Okay. Righty. Jennifer's report.
Okay, I wanted to add some things to this that I left out.
Sure.
Number one, I have talked to Bob because I haven't been super happy with our cleaning.
That's what that was my guess
Oh,
when
it
you said
started
the
off
way you said
okay,
something.
didn't
Yeah,
it?
so I found out that for the last 2 weeks, we've only had one cleaner for the same amount of time that one cleaner will be here. So our agreement was for 2 cleaners for 2.5 hours. So they come at 6:30. They're supposed to come at 6:30 and then leave at 9. So,
We should be paying half price.
well, I have asked for a refund, but so it turns out one quit
Oh.
or wasn't coming in, and there have been nights where we've only had one cleaner. He's busting his butt. And
Right.
he's run like literally, he was running by me with the vacuum the other day.
Poor guy.
But he's only here 2.5 hours.
Yeah,
So why are we
you
paying
can't.
for 5
Right.
hours of work?
Right.
We're only
Absolutely.
getting 2.5 hours. So I know they're looking for somebody, then they're going to train somebody, so then we'd be back up. But during that 3 weeks to a month that we're down, why are we paying
Yeah,
for?
And they didn't tell us?
I have not gotten any, no. The
No,
only
like
reason we
that.
know is because the librarians and I were doing a checkup meeting and we were talking about it.
True at City Hall.
Yeah, Bob says he wishes that we could have the same couple, but they work during the day, so they can't.
Mm,
Because Bob's original idea was the couple at City Hall could come over here after they get done with City
Yeah.
Hall. But
They're there at night, because
Yeah.
I'm usually not there during the day.
Mhm.
But, you know,
Okay, so you'll follow up and just keep
So
track
I'm
of.
just, I told Bob to let them know that I'm not happy. Gotten
Who cut
reached.
them the
The guy
check?
is now running.
No, he was running before
Oh,
I
okay.
told him.
So who pays them? How are they paid?
The company, Dust Free.
No, I mean, like,
Oh.
do we submit payment to them, or does it go through the city? Does the city pay Dust Free?
They bill us and we pay them.
Well,
That's
give
the
them half a check.
sundry contractors.
No, you
Rip
know,
it in half.
can you adjust the amount you pay, or they submit a bill?
You don't have
They
to
submit-
paperwork.
Yeah, all right, well, pay under pro.
We'll see.
No,
I did, I'll double check with Bob tomorrow to see if he mentioned that, because I
Yeah.
emailed him back and I wasn't really joking, so I don't know,
Right.
maybe if he took
Yeah.
it as a joke, because I said, since we only have half the cleaners, are we getting a
Yeah, a
refund
yeah.
or a discount?
Good one.
And, yeah, he didn't email me back, but
We
I'll
need to
check
program
tomorrow.
Maybe
it.
he's,
Right.
well, maybe he's checking into it.
Yeah.
Okay,
So I will find out.
all right.
I will find out. But that was really one of the things I wanted to mention, that I didn't put in here. Is there any questions?
Well, the meeting that you had with Goodwill,
Oh, yeah, what was that about?
They have so they work a lot, they call them customer, and they look to try to find like what kind of work would be suitable for them.
right,
So this one gentleman named Robert he can't communicate,
Okay.
but his mom thinks that he could do cleaning. So he's going to work with a job coach here. We're gonna start out with like 2 hours a week, maybe go up to 4, see, depending. And he can do some cleaning. We'll have a list of tasks for him to do, and he'll work with a job coach to clean. And then what they do is they evaluate to see
Right.
if that's something he can do.
We've had people through Goodwill or through some other.
Andre was,
Just
and
recently.
we hired him as a shelver.
Right, right.
So
Okay.
I met with Robert, his mom, and Shauna, the lead job developer, to talk about it. So.
Okay. Is there a start date?
She had told me mid to late September,
Oh, okay.
because there's a lot of paperwork they have to put in.
Yeah.
And Goodwill pays them what
Right.
we would pay a custodian, so I had to
Oh,
tell them
right.
what our
Right.
pay was for custodians.
Okay.
and then when you met with the health department, what was that?
The health fair,
Oh.
logistics about the health fair.
That's October.
So we're talking about room usage and
Mhm.
how things were gonna go. Yeah.
Good, good. Where was the retreat?
That was at New Berlin Library,
Oh.
Friday morning.
Alrighty.
Can I bring up something to put it into your report?
Yeah.
I see it in your report, so I'm just gonna
Yes.
play off of it. The children's department, and actually, I was talking with Brittany and Megan about this, about the Taylor Swift sing-along that they did. They told me you had 90 plus attendees for it.
Well, yeah.
Which I think is amazing because it was not super advertised. It was also not advertised for very long.
It was a very,
It was one of those pop-up
It
programs.
really
almost.
was. And I think the thing that was, we didn't attend, but I think the thing that was really cool about it is you're bridging a little bit more of an age gap that we don't have as large of a following in. So to have such a pop-up program so successful in that age group, I think was really job well done. And I know they were already talking about doing more of maybe something with like Harry Styles or something or whatever with the foundation. But I was like, you guys got to remember the demographic a little bit. Like, but I love the enthusiasm for it, and maybe we could do something a little bit more like that. But I just said with the foundation, I think you might have to like I don't know, I haven't worked with foundation, but I said just because it's maybe not the same demographic that they're used to pulling in, you might just have to give them.
But you know,
Really
if you want to
plan
get
it
those
out.
20-somethings in, Harry Styles.
Oh, right, they're the right people to do
And if we
it.
say 18 and over, we wouldn't have to find clean lyrics.
Right.
or-
Right. Well, I'm like, it's perfect to do. I think they should do that. But they were talking like maybe the foundation could do the
Yeah.
program, and I'm like, well, I don't know. But the couple things I've done with the foundation, they are a little older, so they might not know Harry Styles as well. So you might just have to give them the instructions of like, this is what you should do for this program.
Well, I mean, we generally work off of recommendations of Carrie and Jennifer, so.
So yeah,
That
If
wouldn't
we
be an
brought
issue.
it
be
to
the thing
them.
anyhow, yeah. So I said, I bet they would do it. You just would have to like give it to them,
Yeah,
and
I
give
put-
them the ideas.
I put 80 because they kept running in my office and saying, and the last time they ran in my office, they said, we have over 80. And that was the
No,
last
when
time.
they told me it was ended up being over 90, I'm like, I didn't think it would honestly be that successful because it was just like,
It was very quick and it was a,
yeah. But I also had thought about, and I said to Brittany, I'm like, what do you guys think about putting a donation bucket and actually talking about a donation bucket being there for every program?
and I have one. They just forget.
I know, and I brought it out during like the Bluey one, but it was almost, I'm like, you almost have to, a lot of times we don't have money on us, especially with the kids. But if you start talking about it, then parents might start grabbing a couple bucks or whatever, and then knowing the next program, they'll have something to put in there. Or doing a Venmo, like the library should have a Venmo and a Venmo code to start being able to
I just,
have that.
I just have to figure out.
Or maybe the
The
foundation
city
could,
would have to give us their, That means-
That's right.
I don't know how to do the
well,
video.
maybe,
Or would it
maybe
go
that
into
could be
the
something to the foundation.
Yeah,
That's where it should go.
That would, I mean, that's
Foundation.
ultimately probably where you would want the money to
Any
go through anyhow.
donations now
Donation.
should go to the foundation.
Yeah.
like the library lunch ladies put they did put
What?
the bucket out and they got $28.
That's what Brittany said. She said the library lunch ladies do it, so we should just do it. I'm like, well, start like telling people, hey, if you like our programs, do this, and let your representatives know.
Yeah.
And then I think we should do that in like our calendars and our newsletters too. If you like our programs, let your representatives know. If you want to see something more, let them know, because then they're at least, you don't have to necessarily give them negative comments like don't cut their budget, but give them positive comments like we love this, we want more of this, we whatever. So I think we should start including that in our newsletters and on our calendars and encouraging people to contact them to let them know. Yeah.
I mean, you hear all the time. I mean, you tend to hear the negative all the
Right.
time. It is.
Oh, yeah, welcome to my room.
Right, right. Yeah.
Right, well, and if we, maybe Michelle, maybe you would know the link to find your alderman.
They're all on
Well, it's
the
all on our city website.
Yeah.
it's
Because
pretty
if
easy.
we left, like if we even used that link to find your alderman and the link actually took you right there so people could find their alderman.
Oh, I see.
You have to go to the district map, find where.
Yeah.
That one, yeah, there's not
It's
an
not
easy
super
way like
friendly.
the
There's not
Wisconsin
an easy
one.
way, and then we just redistricted a little over a year ago, which,
Yeah.
yeah.
But I still think it would be worth putting a link to that like on our website. Let your representative know how much you love the library, like so you're putting it out there as positive.
Good idea.
But definitely the donation thing. And feel free to donate. If you love this program, donate.
Do you include, and I apologize if I haven't looked closely enough, when you advertise things like Bluey and so forth, I probably don't read the fine print. Could you put in the bottom of it, it's a complimentary program, however donations are appreciated? I mean, when I work with Susan at the Conservancy, she does that quite often. It's free to walk the trails and so forth, but, contributions are appreciated.
Well, I
'Cause
had
a
thought.
lot of people may not know that or think of it.
Well, that's why I said they should start putting the buckets out. In fact, I had even thought, like, depending on where our budget goes, like, would it be wrong to start asking for like our big programs for like a $5 per family or
Years
$2
ago.
or $3
We can't,
donation?
we can't charge for a program that's in the state statutes.
Okay.
However, we can charge for materials. So if, for example, the cookie decorating we had, we
Mhm.
were able to charge $5 to help cover, and that only covered part of it.
Right.
The cookies, the
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
supplies. But yeah, you can charge for, you can do a charge for
Materials.
supplies.
Mhm. Because maybe for some of the programs and stuff, maybe
We-
that'll
We
be a
don't
route
want to
we
do
would-
it for everything, and a
No,
lot of our
no.
programs, we actually don't really spend that much. You know,
Right.
Carrie looks for crafts that she
I
can
know,
use
we're
wee
very
jars
frugal.
with.
We're really
Right.
frugal.
Wee jars, we've had a lot of wee jar
Right, crafts, yeah.
So we do look for crafts that don't cost a lot.
But I mean, these programs that we're bringing in on a whim, almost 100 people, and Bluey 400-500 people, like
Well, I think the yoga classes too,
the
both the
yoga,
chair mat,
especially they're
the chair yoga and the mat yoga. We really should be putting something out there every single.
and actually saying something. Remember, if you like this,
Yeah.
remember to donate or having a small, because we also pay quite a bit for, or not
Not
quite
as much as we would pay a. I mean, he gives us a really good
right.
deal. Yeah.
But I mean, just like when we bring into like the Bluey or the princesses or the whatever, like we pay quite a bit to have our performers in. So to ask for a little something or to make sure that we're mentioning that we're going to have a jar and have a Venmo or a square or something. Venmo's way easier. I don't know that people would do a square, but people would definitely hit a Venmo up to donate. a
Yeah,
little
it's
bit.
easy to make that little QR
QR
code.
code. All right, well, something to, just reminding the librarians to make sure those are out at the programs. It sounds like we have
Yeah.
them, so. All right.
And then the at a glance.
Mhm.
Numbers are up again. I mean, you heard
Make sure
what I told the mayor. I mean,
knows
mayors
it.
are-
Guys,
They're doing
that's
good.
not what they are, and if they're not nationwide, then he didn't, we need to tell them
Like
we're
I said,
different.
people use libraries for different things
Right.
now.
Right,
So just counting circulation, if you're just looking
Right.
at circulation.
right.
But I mean, our gate count was up huge.
Mm-hmm.
And programming, although I'm not surprised about programming because all of the librarians have been telling me there's so many more people in our programs now than there were.
You know, do you guys get a count on how many people do you? Well, you would like Canopy and like the online
Yeah, I asked her
services.
about that, yeah. Mm-hmm. That all counts
That
towards
all counts.
circulation. or
Okay, that
it's on
counts
our
in
website, yep.
circulation. Because you do end up paying a small fee for some of that, right? Okay, so
All right. Any questions for Jennifer? Anything else you wanted to add? I kind of cut you off the adding lines. No?
No.
Okay. Annie, anything from the Library Foundation?
Meeting next month?
Okay, September meeting?
And the literary luncheon, October 10th, thank you.
so do you think you guys could talk about maybe a Venmo at the meeting?
We can.
Did you have a question, Michelle?
Oh, I was just gonna touch base on the Eagle Scout project. That was something.
Oh, yeah.
that-
Oh, sure.
And like if they
Fire
don't get some
alarms.
flowers, there's not going to be any for sale. Good Lord, it's getting late for.
Yeah.
But it's looking like that's something that's, according to this, that's not going to happen.
When does he have to finish that?
October.
Oh, he does have till October.
Okay.
Might be filling it with mums for now.
Well, we've got tulips.
Tulips,
We have
yeah.
the tulips.
Yeah.
Mums and bulbs?
Mm-hmm.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, that would be
Okay,
totally fine.
right. Thank you, Annie. Terry, you have a report from Coland?
The next meeting is the second Friday of September,
Okay.
and the meeting meetings now, attendance in person is not mandatory.
Oh, still?
Or indicated, that's still the case, so people do, well, in the case here, this meeting is at the Bayfield Carnegie Library. So, just people that don't want to
Drive.
drive or not, that's not a good.
6.5 hours to
Yeah,
Bayfield.
yeah. So,
They attend virtually then.
Yeah, so I'm assuming that, there'll be a few people who make the trip. We're making the trip, but we're gonna then stay a few days.
Yeah.
So as long as we're up there.
Yeah.
So,
September
and
8th,
if you say so.
second Friday?
Yes.
Okay.
One thing was odd, the Bayfield Library, which is this Carnegie Library, is going to be open, or at least the hours shown were from 8 to 2 on Friday. And if I was reading it right, and the little library on the island has somewhat longer not hours.
Oh, my
somewhat
goodness.
longer hours.
Huh.
So, and I'm sure there's some reason for that.
Yeah.
But it's not that practical, besides everybody driving, if you're gonna go across, you have to put in for reimbursement for ferry fare and
right.
so on and so forth. And then, I don't know how big a room they have. I think when I'm up there, I'll take a look at how big of a meeting room there is
Sure.
on the island. So,
Yeah.
so it's, if
Interesting.
they had one up there in Mayfield, I've been up there before, but not for one of these meetings.
Gotcha.
So we'll see how that goes, and we'll report about some of that. So,
Have a wonderful time. It sounds like a fun trip.
Yeah.
all depends on the weather,
Right,
It
right.
always depends on the weather.
Okay, and then our upcoming meetings, the Personnel Committee is going to meet again the 7th. Do you think you'll have,
I haven't heard from Judy though, but
oh, okay,
I'm
okay,
wondering if she's out of town.
I
okay.
think she said she was.
Do you think you'll have those job descriptions looked at before then?
Yeah.
Okay, because otherwise, I was gonna say if we want to push the meeting, a week or two out, so we could just look at it all at once and not have to schedule another meeting to look at the
Because
job
you're just looking at the
description.
3 management ones.
Because, well, yes, but I thought if you want us to look at the rest of the.
I mean, we could push it and have them ready. It's up to you
No, that's what I'm
guys.
saying, unless you just want to push the meeting back, so you
To,
wouldn't
like,
have
the-
to rush.
Yeah. I
What do
guess
you
we
think?
could push
Would
it
you rather
to,
just knock it all out at once rather than?
that'd be a long meeting potentially though. I don't know.
I think we just would approve your, or you know what I mean, like we
Yeah,
would.
you just, yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, whatever.
See if Judy gets back to you.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, we do that. See if Judy gets back to you
Okay.
and
We'll be meeting
I'll-
again.
I'll look
yeah.
at, the goals. I need a copy of them again. I have them somewhere.
So look at
Oh.
that following week.
Yeah, do you want to put another?
Weren't you gonna be gone?
No, not till after the board
Oh,
meeting.
okay.
And then our board meeting is the 25th
Mm-hmm.
of September. Is there anybody that knows right now that they're not going to be there? Okay,
I make a motion, we adjourn.
A second.
well, we're going to give it to Mike.
Giving it to Mike.
He can have it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.